Kevin Stefanski did name Shedeur Sanders the starter for the rest of the regular season. He explained his thoughts today about doing that.
I think all along, Mary Kay, as you know, with our quarterbacks and our young players, you're always making sure that you're making the right decisions for our guys, and I think he has constantly and consistently gotten better in each one of these games and how he's approached this game. He's been working very hard, so I feel good about where his development is heading. He knows there are always going to be plays that he can be better and those type of things, but he's very intentional about getting better each and every game he's out there.
So I know you wrote an article about the day that Sanders had. So what have you thought? What do you think of the way he's played? I mean, every time you want to see everything, he gets a little bit better. And I know he's going to make mistakes, but fifth-round picks make mistakes.
Yeah, no, they certainly do. I mean, rookies make mistakes, right? And he doesn't feel like a fifth-round pick. I know in my story that I'm writing right now, obviously I refer to him as a fifth-round pick. I'm not sure that was ever the right spot for him to be drafted. I felt like he was more talented than that, certainly. What's impressed me the most about him, and there's multiple things, David, it's, the ability to rally in the fourth quarter yesterday, I thought was really huge. He gave this team a chance to win when it looked like they were done by leading 2 touchdown drives, running the one in on that scramble where showed a lot of athleticism, makes a throw to Harold Fannin, made several throws, and then the touchdown to Fannin. So you got the clutch. And I think we all knew that, but we see it in the NFL that's a clutch. He's got the clutch gene. I think he's learned from his mistakes. And it was a bad interception yesterday, and he needs to learn from that. But I think he's done a better job avoiding those big mistakes. He threw the ball away a bunch yesterday. He just needed to throw it away one more time instead of forcing it down the field to Laverdan. I think he's got better, not perfect, but better at not dropping too deep when there's pressure and taking the big sacks. We saw a couple of those against the 49ers, but he was better against the Raiders. I thought he was better yesterday avoiding that. And then you see, even within a game or with a game to game, where he misses a throw. And when I say miss, doesn't see it. And he checks it down or, extends a play and then throws it away or whatever. But his first game, even against the Ravens when he came in the second half, he had Harold Fannin on a deep in cut and checked it down. They ran it again, and he threw it, and it was a really nice completion. It was a long completion over the middle. I felt like the touchdown to Jerry Jeudy yesterday, it probably wasn't the same play, but it had similar elements to that first third down against the Niners where he missed him open and then overthrew him deep. And this time, Jeudy comes open on an in-cut, and he drills him, and Jeudy takes off for the 60-yard touchdown. So I think there's really tangible evidence of him learning and committing to getting better on a week-to-week basis.
The other thing that, as you say that, and when I watched it, I thought it too. If you put more pieces around him, he's going to look even better. I mean, he's doing this with basically the same, and maybe even to a lesser extent, the crew that Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel couldn't. And I say to a lesser extent because there's more injuries going on. But he still doesn't have a guy that's getting a lot of separation, but he's finding Jerry Jeudy. He's finding Harold Fannin. I want to see him with a big-time playmaker. I got to be honest.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And, I think we have to be careful not to jump too far ahead. It was a really good game yesterday, I thought, from Sanders. Coming off, an average game the week before, and then he was, pretty good against the Raiders. So I need to see more of this, but, when we bring to this evaluation is I thought he was good in college, and I thought he was worth a relatively high draft pick, when he was coming out in April. So I always liked him. I think his accuracy remains elite. And we saw it, the completion percentage doesn't show it because there's throwaways and there's drops. But when he needs to put the ball on the money, we've seen him do it a lot of times. And I look at that touchdown to David Njoku. It was a short touchdown, but it was a great throw. The guy was all over Njoku's back, and he throws it in the corner, and the only spot Njoku could catch it, diving. And I think there's multiple examples of that. So, yeah, I think there's plenty. But you're right. The pieces around him are limited in what they can do. And we've seen that all season long. But for him to rise to the occasion yesterday and account for 4 touchdowns, which nobody in the Browns' history has ever thrown for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and run for another touchdown. So I don't want to minimize what he did yesterday, but you're right. He could use more pieces around him, just like the guys calling the plays could use more
Yeah.
talent at the skill positions.